What's up, boys? It's the Gypsy. I decided to make another video. Finally, coming back from the dead. Nah, I'm just playing. But I was resurrected. Anyhow, so this fight, man, I hate making videos, but I wanted to do it for this one really badly for some reason. I mean, I didn't make it for my boy Tyson Fury, but I will for the second one because I didn't really expect too much from the first one. With the second one, I'm more interested. The second fight with Fury and Usyk. Then then this first one. I was actually interested in the first one, but I didn't. I was so excited I didn't care. I wanted to make the. I didn't decide to make a video, and I'm not much about this video thing, bro. But I want to. I really do want to make a video on this one because we kind of knew what was gonna happen with Fury and Usyk. Well, some people knew, and they were terrified that it could go the other way, if you know what I mean. Um, this one, yeah, I mean, Fury's case, I would say, going back to Fury again, Fury's case was more of a not ready as much as some people think he was as best as he could have been for Usyk. I don't think he was. I mean, if the cut, worry about getting cut again in the fight shouldn't be an evident a thing that can be considered is one of those things, and also the fact that his conditioning wasn't that great, and his strategy was also probably not that great neither for that fight. But this is not about Fury and Usyk. This is about, just like the rest of my videos, I go off topic and start talking about other fights instead of talking about the fight that matters, Bivol versus Beterbiev. And people really do not, didn't respect, I would say, Bivol. No, sorry, not Bivol, Beterbiev. And they thought that Beterbiev is, he's old, and his time is coming, and he's probably not gonna pull, he's not gonna be no spring chicken or whatever they like to call the wonderful words that they like to use, people. And there was a lot that was leaning on Bivol. Now, when the time is getting closer and closer, things have changed. Things have gone to the direction of the actual beast in boxing. Whether you like to believe it or not, the only beast in boxing. He's obviously not a heavyweight, so you can't really go like, oh, he beat everybody out there. But he is pound for pound the actual beast in boxing. I mean, he's the one guy that dropped our so-called undisputed champion. Not once, but twice. I've heard, once we have on video, but apparently he dropped him again. And he's dropped him once, more than once. So body shot. So that doesn't. I mean, and you consider how much weight difference it is from 175 to all the way to heavyweight. Then you gotta consider who the real beast is, pound for pound, and all of boxing. And yeah, granted that Usyk was not the same Usyk that is right now, but neither is Arthur. Arthur is not the same Arthur that he is, but clearly the size difference was always there. Usyk was the bigger man, much bigger, much more fluid in motion, and Bivol is a better technician, even though he doesn't have too much of a variety compared to Usyk. He's better of a technician because there's no wasted movements with Bivol. There is, I mean, he does waste movements. He's not, I mean, he can't be perfect to the T. There is no such thing, but he's the closest thing to it. If there is such a thing. And Bivol, is is gonna get annihilated in this fight. You know, I would totally bet money on this fight. I mean, I already have bet money on it, but not the type of money that I would like to bet. But I wouldn't. I don't want to go crazy with my money because I don't believe that you should bet to win to make money because that's how they fuck you over the casinos and everything. But next thing you know, Beterbiev, his leg falls off during the fight. This is why I don't I don't do betting. But I do believe that he has Beterbiev will not. It ain't just the fact that he's gonna. I'm not getting to the technical aspect of things. I'm about to. It's not just the fact that he has the power and everything. He is just close enough to Bivol's skill set. He can move the way Bivol moves if he wants to, but he chooses to fight a fight where he likes to break his opponents down. The only time he fought similar to what Bivol does when he fought Joe Smith. That's why he took him out in 2 rounds. You know, when he kind of respects your power, he chooses to fight in that fashion. And Bivol's there was a long time that Bivol I think was fighting a way where he didn't wasn't trying to stop his opponents, and then I think he got too accustomed to that, and then he didn't know how to stop his opponents because he forgot how to. He forgot the killer instinct, and I think he kind of got it back from this fighting this bum recently. But to me, it doesn't really matter if he has that killer instinct. If he, at his best, Bivol still loses as to a better Biv at his worst. And what I mean by his worst, if Beterbiev for happenstance has an issue with his knee, and the knee somehow is fucking up with his mobility, I think he'll still be able to stop Bivol. And you're like, wow, crazy? There's no way. Like, I think it's still possible. You know why? Because of the fact that he's gonna hit him once or twice. He's gonna catch him. He's got fast hands. He's got fast left and right hook and good timing, and he got a good jab. And what else does he have? He's got good defense, everything. He's got a good ability to catch and shoot. So it takes only one good shot to put him behind the ropes, and Bivol is in trouble. I mean, did you see crazy amount of mobility against Brown? I forgot the dude's name. The dude he knocked out. I forgot, that beat Bottle Jack. Yeah, Brown something. Whatever his name is. First name, last name is Brown. He beat the shit out of that dude without much mobility. And that fool was moving a hell of a lot. He was pretty much walking him down. And that could necessarily happen to Bivol, but I think Bivol is the type of dude that won't take as much. I don't think he can take as much punishment as that dude. I don't think he can take as much punishment as Anthony Yarde took. I don't think he could take as much punishment as even someone like Caleb Smith. And you're like, well, how do you know this? I have this gut feeling. I don't think he's gonna be able to take that kind of punishment. You know, oh well, Caleb Smith. Caleb Smith was wagering when he fought Canelo. Doesn't doesn't count. You know, I mean, he wasn't wagering when he fought Beterbiev. So you got to consider these things. Um, I don't think he's gonna be able to take enough punishment. I think this fight doesn't even pass. I don't think he goes past 8, unless Beterbiev decides to prolong it. This is not. This is a mismatch. Even though skill wise, they both possess a lot of skill. They bring a lot to the table. It's just that, and I would classify Bivol like an A+ fighter, even though he doesn't. He's lost his killer instinct before he had it. and I would consider Bederbev an A minus fighter in skill set alone. But because of the power differential between the two, and keep in mind these guys are both about the same size, same length, same all these fucking things, and it doesn't really matter because power does size is not where power comes from. Bederbev is not. He's just a more fortified. His nervous system, let's just say, is more fortified than someone like Bivol is. So he can take more punishment. He can deliver more punishment. Oh, he's been dropped 2 times. Dude, those first of all, those guys that dropped him were actual punchers. Bivol, as much of a puncher people claim him to be, he's not. He's more of a volume puncher than for 175. If it was 168, Bivol would be a puncher. But he, in my honest opinion, I don't think he hits as hard as Golovkin does. So Triple G Golovkin, I don't think he hits as hard as Golovkin. So you can imagine where his power really is. He's a volume puncher that throws a lot more punches than Golovkin would, and he takes his opponents out. You know, I mean, that's how he is. That's how he's able to do what he's doing. Where you can't touch him, he frustrates you, and he touches you so much until he stops you. And yes, he is technically, like a boring aspect of the sport in the sense of it's just so one-sided. It's boring. He's more technically advanced than guys like. Uh, he's more naturally gifted in a way I could probably say too than someone like Usyk or Lomachenko. And you're like, I know the motherfuckers out there. Oh, well, he doesn't have lateral movement. He doesn't have this, and he doesn't have that. He is because he's naturally more capable of avoiding shots. He just some of the stuff that he does is so instinctual. You know that fighters like Terrence Crawford, fighters like Errol Spence, fighters like Errol Spence when he was at his best, not when he before the car crash. That is, not after the car crash, before the car crash. The move I've seen Errol dodge shots that were just pretty impressive from Sean Porter that Terrence Crawford couldn't do. He just clearly got clipped with those shots. Not couldn't do, just didn't do. Probably is probably the right answer. Um, yeah. So like he's more natural. Bivol was more of a natural when it comes to boxing, but he does not possess enough power to give Beterbiev a serious challenge. In order for Beterbiev to lose to someone like Bivol, he would need to be a C level fighter, which he's not. He's an A minus level fighter, which is more than enough to beat someone like Dimitri Bivol. You know, I mean, if you're an A minus and I'm an A plus, but you got more power, then what do you think is gonna happen? Like the amount of power differential between these two. I mean, you could just tell by the knockout ratio. One has 100% knockout ratio. The other one has a 50% knockout ratio, and that should tell you all there needs, all there is, all there need. I can't even talk right now. I forgot English. That should tell you everything you need to know about the differences between these two. It's clear that Beterbiev is gonna win, and those who believe that this is some kind of epic matchup where the fight is gonna be very like competitive and oh my god, one is just gonna come back and like Usyk Fury is a competitive fight. Even the second fight is gonna be competitive. It's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be edge of your seat. I'm still gonna be edge on my seat on this because still boxing. You don't know what's gonna happen just because you think something's gonna happen. Like AJ versus Daniel Dubois. I was leaning towards AJ, and then when the fight was about to begin, I started to lean more to Daniel Dubois because I thought that AJ is not really thinking too seriously over Daniel Dubois, thinking that his power is going to be enough to get rid of Daniel Dubois. And Daniel Dubois is coming there to prove something, and I felt like what I saw him do with Filip Hrgovic, even though I think that fight was prematurely stopped, he was doing much better than I ever expected him to do. And keep in mind, I had picked this kid way back in the day in my videos to become a world champion, to one day even defeat AJ. But when he lost to Joy Joyce, I forgot about who fucking Daniel Dubois is. I didn't believe that he could ever overcome his demons. They just say that much. Because a lot of fighters don't. A lot of fighters fall for the quitting mentality. Once they quit, they always quit, as the saying goes. But not always the case. Not in the case of Daniel Dubois. So, what was I getting at? Something about Beterbiev, right? Uh, not no, I forgot what I was saying. But anywho, I lost my train of thought. Um, this fight being some kind of competitive fight. This fight isn't. I don't think it's going to be competitive. I think this fight is going to be a one-sided whipping, and you guys gonna find out that Biv Better Biv is not about just power. Like he is more. But if I'm wrong, hypothetically speaking, if Bivol ends up beating Better Biv, then this dude should instantaneously either be number one. I think he should be number one. I think he should be over Usyk. If as long as Beterbiev didn't end up with a serious injury, during the fight, like the knee injury ended up coming back. If as long as that didn't take place, then he's automatically number one status. Like because Usyk, I mean, his style hasn't really changed much. If you watch how he fought in the amateurs, it hasn't really changed much. It's still somewhat the same. Of course, he's added some stuff, but he ended up getting hit multiple times. And if this dude doesn't manage to get hit, I'm talking about Dimitri Bivol against Beterbiev again, dude, that is impeccable. I mean, you have to give him, even though he's fighting only one division, you have to give Bivol that number one status. But the same thing goes to Beterbiev. And then you're like, what? What do you mean, Beterbiev being pound for pound? Because Bivol is so technically sound, if Bivol cannot touch Beterbiev, and I mean literally cannot touch how Joe Smith couldn't really touch him, and he knocks out Bivol by just completely dominating, not letting him touch him once, and not just because of the concept of him having too much power, you can also put Beterbiev up there in number one status, but not necessarily over Usyk. Not over necessarily over Usyk because he he Bivol is not a power puncher that could have phased him much of anything, but close enough. I mean, close enough over certain fighters. Maybe I don't know. Even the lights of Terence Crawford. Yes, yeah, because Terence has never fought someone like Dimitri Bivol. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Let's be frank. Let's be truthful. He has not fought anybody like Terence. Like you can't sit there and tell me say that Errol Spence is as good as they're about because they're about the same size. Slightly bigger. Errol Spence is just as talented as Dimitri Bivol is. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You can't say these things. No. So that's why I don't. You can't put Terence over, even though he's two-time undisputed. You can't put Terence over Dimitri Arthur Beterbiev at that moment in time. But you could put Usyk because Usyk fought a bigger man who could have probably been more stronger than him. Well, not probably for sure he is, but he beat him. He beat two guys, two divisions. Um, he fought the best in two divisions, and the second division was clearly he was the heavyweight division. He was fighting every man bigger than him. So bigger and possibly and definitely stronger than him. So you can't. Usyk can't. Well, he can't surpass Usyk, but he can definitely. I don't know about Inoue. Inoue See, this is how I would compare Inoue with Beterbiev. If they were in the same weight division, who would you favor? My honest opinion would be Beterbiev. Inoue, as good as he is, I don't think he will be able to withstand the amount of punishment and the. I mean, he got hit with a Neary, got dropped. This Beterbiev dude, he he catches people with much better shots than what he got what Inoue got hit with, man. I mean, if they were in the same division, I would favor Arthur, even though Arthur has not moved up in multiple weight divisions like Inoue has for the smaller weight divisions. I will still favor Arthur. I think Arthur is better, just based on what I've seen. I mean, yes, Inoue is great moving in, out, all this stuff. You think Arthur cannot do all these things? Arthur can do all those things and then some. That's why he was able to win rounds against someone like Alexander Usyk. The guy is so people who have put the guy that they put over everybody right now because of what he's accomplished. So you think Arthur can't do that? That's a silly misconception. If you think you can, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would put Arthur above anyway, but I wouldn't and Terrence, but I wouldn't put him over Usyk because he hasn't gone to cruiserweight. He hasn't done those things to almost everybody's fought. He was overpowered, even though he overpowered and overskilled them. Even though they were bigger than him, in some cases he's not too much of a big guy for the 175 division. But I always felt like he is too powerful for that division. Even though he's more skillful than them, he's still more powerful than them. He should have went up to cruiserweight. I think he just felt too comfortable staying at light heavyweight. But he's proven the point that how much of a pound for pound beast he is, and I think his legacy will completely be sealed once he becomes undisputed and completely proven of how great he is once he moves to cruiserweight, if he ever does, which would be awesome. Or they see to at least have major fights, uh, two major fights at cruiserweight that will seal the deal of him either surpassing Usyk or yeah, probably just surpassing Usyk. That's all, you know. Because everyone else, I don't. I can't put him over. This man deserves to be in the pound for pound number one list, number one spot before a long time, and nobody, people haven't really recognized them. Oh, it's 100% KO ratio. Only in one division, yeah, only in one division that is full of killers. They're all big dudes. That some are very talented, some are mediocre, some are just poor talent, but there's some talented individuals in the division. Some Bivol is one of them. Kovalev is long gone. Anthony Yard ain't that bad himself. Um, Caleb Smith is new in the mix. David Benavidez now in there. I mean, there's a bunch of talent in there, man. There's just only a few names I mentioned, but there's a lot more that Adonis Stevenson, retired. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, it's a very rich division, historically wise too, and some people say this guy is the best light heavyweight ever. Then I can agree. I mean, I can't imagine any light heavyweight that would in I can see in the past that would have able to fight this dude and survive. I just don't see it. And some people say, "Oh, he's on the drugs and shit." Like, dude, this. Well, most all of them are drugs. But this dude, I probably won't say he's on the drugs. I think he's so dedicated to his craft. Smoking, no drinking, no partying of any sort. That he's very, very dedicated to the craft. And maybe he did probably take a little bit of drugs here and there. But I think primarily his level of success at the age of 40 is due to the fact that he's been taking care of his body to the very max, to the very detail, pushing to the points where he's breaking parts of his body in training camp. So Yeah, Beterbiev is a Beterbiev is a beast, bro. You know, and I think he's more natural, even though some might disagree. I think he's more natural than a lot of the boxers in today's you know divisions. No matter which division you're taking, he's more natural. I'm not saying he's completely natural. Probably doubt that, but he's more natural than all of them because he's had this power that we're witnessing for a very, very, very long time. It's not like we're talking about Golovkin. Look at Golovkin, at his younger years. He looked like a scrawny little kid. I mean, of course, he was a kid at the time. But this dude, like, you watch his past, how he's, like, went through the amateurs, he's always had that fucking ridiculous pop that put people's on, that put people on their asses. You know what I mean? He's a naturally powerful dude. He's naturally born with heavy hands. He's a strong dude naturally. Okay. Well, the steroids keep him young and all that. Well, no, it's not just okay. Listen, man, the steroids. If it was so bad, he would probably lose his fucking hair on his head. If it's PEDs or whatever, he's probably would be balding at the age of 40. He's been keeping himself fresh and clean for a long, long time. It's not that. Okay, that's all bullshit. I don't believe this. This dude is one of those dudes that, like the Muslim religion that he, Islam religion that he's believing in, is probably the main reason why I would believe that he's really not doing anything like his trainer says he ain't. So, yeah, that's my take on it. And I think, yeah, as I said again, I don't think this fight is going to be competitive. Just like, I mean, majority of these undisputed fights haven't been competitive, except for the Fury, Fury and what was it? I think Caleb Plant Canelo was kind of competitive. Fury Usyk was competitive. Spence Spence Terrence was not competitive at all whatsoever. Um, oh yeah, Thing was competitive. Josh Taylor Ramirez, that was competitive. So yeah, it's a 50-50 with it's not like every fight is competitive. In a way, his fights are not, usually not competitive at all actually. So any undisputed fight he had was pretty much not competitive. Um, yeah, so this is gonna be a non-competitive one. People think uh, things Dimitri Bivol's skill is just gonna be too much for old man Beterbiev, but this guy, I wouldn't be surprised that he's the younger based on mileage, not by age. And you're like, how? Well, look, well, he's worked hard. Yeah, but when he's worked hard, he's kept himself clean. I don't know if Dimitri Bivol has kept himself clean, you know, out of drug addiction. I mean, he probably has a little bit here and there, but like other stuff, like he probably does recreationally that we don't know about. I mean, all these guys have a life off, away from boxing. But I think based on I feel like something. But on top of that, Pitbull is the type of guy that fights usually for decisions. So that's like, mileages being wasted on a fight. A lot of movement. Um, Someone like Arthur usually ends the guys that he fights within 8 rounds or less. Probably majority of his fights probably ended up ending within the first 5 rounds, first 6 rounds. I haven't kept count of it. So that's another way his mileage has been safely guarded, I guess. Less mileage been used. So the mileage, I would say, even though he's 40 years old, he might have more mileage on him, more mileage left to spend than Bivol is. And they're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's not something you can measure. I'm just going off the top of my head, but it's possible. And based on his durability, probably is more. He, he's like a truck, and let's just say Bivol is a sedan. Can only go a couple 100,000 miles until the point it has a blown gasket, but Arthur is a truck that can go up to 1,000,000 miles, you know, uh, on his odometer. And then, then he'll finally retire as a truck, you know what I mean? So, Bivol, on the other end, would retire much earlier than that. I think he's considerably younger, Bivol. I don't know how young he is. I'm not gonna check the age right now. I'm just looking through the pictures of these posters of these guys, and yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. But I could be wrong, man. I've been wrong about fights before, so plenty of times, plenty of rights, plenty of wrongs as well. And no matter how good you are, you don't put predictions. And I'm at this point probably 65, 45 with my predictions. 35 actually. 65, 35. But at some point I was 75 or 80 some point, but now not so much. Um, I would say yeah, this fight it can only go one way, and Beterbiev will destroy Bivol. Sad man. I hope though. One thing I hope though is that I don't. I hope that Bivol does not end up seriously hurt because he will get seriously hurt in this fight. He probably won't be the same, and we won't. Sadly, we won't be able to see him fight for other fights because anybody who steps in the ring with this dude, it can get seriously, really badly injured with Arthur. Arthur's no cookie, Like he's when I say no cookie, I mean like obviously everybody knows he's no fucking kid, but it's like he's a he's a really dangerous dude. Even though he doesn't, he plays this humble act. Underneath, he's a monster. You know what I mean? He's not like he tries to keep. He gives that persona of humble, being humble because he wants to look nice in front of people. But he really isn't that humble dude you think he is. His religion is what keeps him there like that. The dude's not. I mean, if you watch the trailer with, oh, not the trailer, sorry, the what happened with Eddie Hearn in the press conference where he's calling him arrogant or whatever. He was literally the way he approached Eddie Hearn is like, well, at least first of all this whatever the guy is, like Indian dude, Indian British dude that likes to start creating shit out of thin air, right? He pretty much first went after him, and then when Eddie got involved, he said, "You know what? You better shut up." He pretty much said it in this way. You think you're tough, huh? That's pretty much what he said in a different way. He said it, oh, I am arrogant, though I show you arrogant. Like, oh, the dude has massive. Obviously, you need ego, but like people call him humble. They say Beavis is humble. Neither one of these guys are really humble. Like it's just the persona that they like to throw out that they are humble, but they're not really humble. Like they need to be who they are to be able to fight the way they do. They have that ego in them, and at any moment in time, Arthur can burst out. The religion is what keeps him in place. He can burst out. He is a vicious beast. And considering that the balance of power and skill on one end is higher than the other, what he's gonna do to Bivol is just. I hope Bivol gets hit with 2 shots and gets knocked the fuck out and nothing else happens to him, because he's gonna get seriously fucked up, man.
Look at you.
Yeah, he's gonna get seriously. Let me go back here. Yeah, he's gonna get seriously fucked up, bro. Well, that's all I got about to say. I mean, what else is to say about this? I hate making videos, bro. Nowadays, I just don't really want to make videos, but I did it anyway for this fight because I think this is I want to put my fucking 2 cents in for this fight, and I guess I put my not my 2 cents, but my 25 cents in this. Well, like 35 cents on 40. I don't know. Nanocents. I don't know. Whatever it is. 45, 48 nanocents. I'm about to stop it. 50 nanocents. Alright, I'm done. Gypsy, it's been nice talking to you. Yo, yo, yo.